I've been staying away from the media and talking about Jon Jones a lot because, in all honesty, I'm sick of talking about it myself. But there needs to be updates. I have spoke to the UFC on multiple occasions about this fight. I'm chasing it up. I want the fight. What is holding it up right now is his side. That's the truth of it. Does he want to put himself in a position where he's comfortable enough financially to take the risk that he's taking to fight me? And that is where we're at. I'm not bothered where it is, who it's against. To be honest, it's not just the Jon Jones fight I'm looking for. I'm looking to fight, man. Like, I'm in shape. I've been working hard since way before Christmas. I've been in the gym twice a day. My diet's good. I've been sparring. I've got international training partners here. I am prepared to fight anybody. One thing I want to be really clear on is that I am only fighting for the undisputed title. That's my only discrepancy. I will fight absolutely anyone. I have absolutely never turned down a fight in my life, never turned down an opponent, and I'm not going to start now.
Is Jon Jones really the greatest of all time? Or is he just the biggest duck in UFC history? Fans are calling him out. The UFC is pushing for the fight, and Tom Aspinall, who has been waiting for months, is ready to go. But Jones? Well, he seems to be avoiding this fight like his life depends on it. So, what's really stopping this fight from happening? And could we see Jones stripped of his belt if he continues to stall? Let's break it all down.
What we need to be clear on, though, is that I have done enough in the UFC to fight for the undisputed title. I am the best heavyweight in the world, and I just want a chance to prove it. The UFC top 10 here in front of me. So the only two guys I've not fought in the top 10, three guys, are Jon Jones, Surugan, and Almeida. And the other guys I've beat in the first round. So if it's for the undisputed title, as I've said a million times, and the UFC are on board with this, I will absolutely fight anyone in a heartbeat. I'm ready to go. I want to be as active as possible. I want to get as many big fights with as many big guys as possible. Not here to turn anyone down. Not here to be a diva. Not here to get more money. I'm here to be exciting, to do what I love, and to go out there and finish guys. And that is what I absolutely want to do. But right now, it is not me holding up this division. Let's get it moving.
To understand why this is such a huge deal, let's rewind a little. Tom Aspinall became the UFC interim heavyweight champion when Jon Jones pulled out of his fight with Stipe Miocic due to injury. But here's where things get weird. Instead of facing Aspinall after recovering, Jones returned at UFC 309 and fought Miocic anyway, a man who had been inactive for years. And he won via TKO. Now, by any normal UFC logic, the next fight should be Jones versus Aspinall for the undisputed heavyweight title. But instead of signing the contract, Jones is hesitating, throwing out excuses about his legacy, the risk involved, and of course, wanting fuck you money to make it happen.
Is there a magic number that can tickle your pickle, though?
The old pickle tickler, huh?
Yeah.
I love it. There is, but I'm not going to discuss that publicly.
We're going to just have to wait and see.
You would just have to wait and see, Schmo. How about it?
But you're a betting guy. Do you think you'll get back inside the cage in 2025 if we had a bet on that?
Yes, I will be competing in 2025, more than likely.
That's right.
Like, people are starting acting surprised. Oh, John's a duck, this, that, and the other. Jon Jones ducked Francis Ngannou for 3 years. Like, don't be surprised that this guy always takes fights where he's at the advantage.
Aspinall isn't staying quiet. He's been vocal about how badly he wants this fight, repeatedly reaching out to the UFC to get it booked. And according to him, it's not Dana White or the UFC holding things up. It's Jon Jones and his team. Where we're at right now is I have spoken to the UFC on multiple occasions about this fight. I'm chasing it. I want the fight. Tom Aspinall even said the UFC is eager to book the fight, but Jones is playing hard to get. He claims Jones is making things difficult by demanding an outrageous paycheck and possibly stalling to avoid facing him altogether. The UFC really want the fight to happen. They told me that it's just, does he want to put himself in a position where he's comfortable enough financially to take the risk that he's taking to fight me? Tom Aspinall.
Tom waiting outside for me right now, and Jon, you let Jon do Jon. Jon's going to disappear. Not only will you not hear about him or what he's doing, neither will I. And then he will resurface, and he'll call, and we'll get it done.
The fans, they've had enough. People are already calling for Jones to be stripped of the title if he refuses to fight. Just check out some of these brutal reactions. Biggest duck in UFC history. Stippenstow. Normally, the interim champ fights the current title holder, but Jones ducked that fight and got a guy out of retirement instead. Only chickens do that. Emmy Australia. It really shouldn't have to take fuck you money for Jones to fight Aspinall. If he's not willing to fight, he should just be stripped. Steve Hulk.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Aspinall is past the first round, right? Because we've seen him. He looks so fast. He looks. You're like, nobody moves like him. He looks like a younger Kane.
Right.
But he just keeps knocking these guys out so quick. So I'm like, let me see him past the first round to see if he has that cardio as well.
It's a bit of a problem for him, right? Because he has not been tested in that way. And, you know, you're getting up to elite status where you're calling out Jon Jones.
Yeah.
Right? That's the boogeyman. Like, Jon Jones is the boogeyman. And maybe he hasn't died, but he's probably knocked on the door a couple of.
It's clear that the fans are turning on Jones. And with UFC CEO Dana White pushing for this fight to happen, there's real pressure building up. So, what happens now? Jones finally accepts the fight, but only after negotiating a massive paycheck, delaying the division even longer. UFC forces Jones into the fight, setting a deadline before stripping him of the title. Jones walks away from the sport, possibly retiring instead of facing Aspinall.
Aspinall versus Francis, who wins?
Oh, that's a good fight. That's a great fight. Always been a big fan of Francis. Love his story, love what he's all about. I think it's a 50-50 fight, to be honest. Francis is a scary man, but I think technically I would take the edge, but I think that's a great fight.
And then there's a wild card option that some fans have suggested, UFC bringing back Francis Ngannou to fight Aspinall instead. Imagine that shocker. What if Dana shocked the world and stripped Jones of the title, paid Francis half of what Jones is asking, booked Tom versus Francis for International Fight Week, and saved the sport? Dustin's wife's DMs. At this point, it's up to the UFC and Jon Jones to decide what happens next. Will Jones finally accept the challenge and defend his title against the rightful #1 contender? Or will he keep stalling and force Dana White to take action?
Tom Aspinall took a dig at Jon Jones in his recent YouTube vlog. He mentioned Jon Jones is holding the situation. He added, "I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting. If not, I'll fight somebody else for the undisputed belt. Happy to fight anybody."
Let us know in the comments. Should Jon Jones be stripped of his title if he doesn't fight Aspinall by the end of April? And if the fight does happen, who do you think wins? Drop your predictions below, and don't forget to subscribe for more fight breakdowns.